So the League of Nations, as the predecessor organization to the UN, brought many innovations to the area of international relations and global diplomacy and multilateralism.
Multilateralism is the ability to get both the various stakeholders' interests represented and reach common agreement all at once while staking out a course for whatever kind of international organization that they are a part of.
Well, multilateralism is where all countries really, get together and talk and discuss and work out solutions that are acceptable to all of them. So the process is multilateralism. Basically, it's an inclusive dialogue that everybody participates in to solve global problems.
So for instance, the idea of the international civil service, so having people who work for an international organization and pledge their loyalty to that international organization rather than any member state, is a novelty that came with the League. With it also the diplomatic privileges and immunities of the staff of these organizations who are not strictly speaking diplomats. Then the League made some first steps towards gender equality. It was the first organization to enshrine in its founding document the equality of the sexes by opening the job positions in its secretariat equally to men and women. The League was a pioneer in environmental protection, in the protection of refugees and minorities, in working on global disarmament, so reducing weapons as a way to finding peace. And it was the first global organization aimed at maintaining peace.
The way the UN communicates with the outside world and the dilemmas and potentials in that communication is very similar to some of the initiatives and challenges that the League of Nations saw in the 1920s and the 1930s.
We would have people working across nation states, across competences, also working on health, working on disarmament, working on transit and transportation, and have this kind of functional dividing up of topics that were transnational in scope and which were challenges not for singular countries but for the entire globe.
The League of Nations had to create the International Civil Service and the mechanisms for supporting multilateral meetings. One of the things that they recognized, it was really crucial that people be able to understand each other. So, and this doesn't work if you count on everyone to be multilingual themselves. Instead, they created a mechanism for multilingualism, which allows people to speak in their natural language, their native language, where they're most expressive. And what they say goes either through an interpreter or it goes through a translator, and then it gets issued in other languages so other people can work in their own language. The idea is to make communication as seamless as possible.
The challenges are evolving over time, and the UN needs to be ready to tackle them and help member states tackle them. And innovating the ways we find solutions to tackle the issues is crucial.
The discussion today is how important it is to set up teams of people with very different competencies and working across the organization if you want to create change in the way that you engage with the outside world.
Say the bordered division of labor, which has evolved over time within the UN system, needs to be broken down one way or the other in some sort of innovative way. There is a need to address what needs to be done when there seems to be continuous cuts in budgets. So how do you deal with that in a way where you're not simply holding on more and more tightly to the things you got, but instead kind of break up and reinvigorate some parts and perhaps let other parts die away?
So I think the main area of innovation is innovating with people, so not necessarily just focusing on the new technologies that exist, but changing the way we do things and solve problems. It's the way the UN has decided to move forward by creating a more inclusive multilateralism. So meaning we should think beyond just decision makers and member states and other political centers finding solutions to problems. We need to tap into the potential of the entire humanity and have people from all walks of life contribute to solving these issues.